Could the Philadelphia Eagles land potentially the best talent in the draft? Well, it may come with a risk, but we will break down exactly how this could happen. What is going on, everyone? Welcome into A to Z Philly, your number one home for Eagles coverage. Hit the like button if you enjoy this content and be sure to subscribe and hit that bell down below. Happy April. It is draft month. We will be leading you all the way up with coverage to the NFL draft. I'm very excited to see where this Eagles team goes. Obviously, 2 first-round picks. We'll see how it breaks down. RB back, bringing you the latest from the link. And today, the latest is some rumors surrounding one of the best talents in this NFL draft. And I'm here to tell you, he could potentially slip and fall right into the hands of Howie Roseman and the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll talk about how that could happen and if the Eagles should still be interested based on some of the things going on surrounding this player. But before we get right into it, shout out to the sponsor of today's video, BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using code ATOZPA and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. Find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today with bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Pennsylvania only. New customer offer. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's get into it, man. Jalen Carter is the name in question today. Here's a tweet from just a few weeks ago talking about Jalen Carter. This is from NFL Rookie Watch on Twitter. They said, quote, several NFL scouts believe Jalen Carter is still undoubtedly a top 10 pick in the NFL draft despite everything that has gone on. Many scouts believe Carter is still the, quote, best overall talent in this draft. The confirmed teams that have met with Carter include the Bears, Falcons, Ravens, and Chiefs. Again, this was a couple weeks ago. The Philadelphia Eagles had a pre-draft visit as well with Jalen Carter. And, you know, like I said, this guy has a lot of magnitude, right? Like, he is one of the best talents in the draft. When I watch a little bit of his tape, I mean, you could just see it. It pops right off the screen, given his skill set, his size, but also his quickness. So we'll look at more when we get to his draft profile, but let's just give a little brief on what's going on. So he was involved in the unfortunate deadly crash that involved one of his teammates and a staffer for the University of Georgia. This happened after they won the national championship, and he ended up only, I forget what he got. We'll look at it on the draft profile. He ended up getting, I think, some probation and some hours of community service and things like that. But I don't believe he had any further charges. However, I think they're still maybe investigating more of the situation, so I'm not exactly sure, and I don't want to speak, based on what I think could happen. I'm just going to talk about him as the football talent, and we'll see, kind of how that plays out. I do think it's important to note, though, kind of like I said the other day with Nolan Smith from Georgia, Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, the Eagles, they don't usually tend towards going to sign these type of guys, that have, whether it's a lawsuit or baggage, whatever it is. So we'll have to see if this gets cleared up or how this goes with the next step, but definitely something to keep in mind. However, as the football talent, the guy that helped win the national championship, he is a damn good player. Now, this comes from Dov Kleiman on Twitter, a report from just last week. Georgia D lineman Jalen Carter has been taken off the NFL draft board for the Las Vegas Raiders. They have crossed him off the board and will not take him 7th overall, a source tells The Athletic. Now, this is huge given the Eagles' draft position. They're at number 10. We're going to look at the draft board here. As you see, number 7, the Raiders. If this is indeed true, and the Raiders have taken him off the board at number 7, then it leaves Atlanta, and then this pick that was traded to Chicago, and then the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, you look at the Atlanta Falcons. Do they want to go with a potential player like Jalen Carter? I don't know what the Falcons are doing. I think they're still going to be interested in a quarterback. They could trade up. Who knows what the Falcons will do? Chicago's definitely a big one. They are just loading up on talent this offseason. They've had maybe one of the best so far, spending a lot of money. And they actually pick in front of the Eagles, not only in the first round, but in the second round as well. So definitely something to keep your eye on. I believe that if the Eagles want to get Jalen Carter, they're going to have to trade up a couple spots because every mock draft that I've looked at has Carter in the top 10. A lot of them have him around that 6 to 9 range. And if he's there, and I saw a couple people talking about this last week, there are sources out there that believe the Eagles could potentially trade up a couple spots, try to leap over Chicago, and go take a Jalen Carter for this team. Similar to what I said about Nolan Smith when it comes to Georgia players, Georgia defensive linemen. Obviously, they come from a big program. They've won championships. They know how to play. I mean, the Eagles just drafted Jordan Davis last year. And what this player would be able to do is not only fulfill a need now, but looking forward into the future, right? You don't know what's going to happen with Fletcher Cox. You don't know what's going to happen with Brandon Graham. And Howie always tries to drill in the trenches. And if you have a draft like this where, a lot of the players on the defensive line, are high in this draft, like this is a huge defensive line draft, I don't see any reason why Howie Roseman would not want to go with that position. But anyway, let's take a little bit of a look at the draft profile of Jalen Carter. As you can see, I mean, he just grades out really well. First among D tackles. Really, for me, he checks most of the boxes. I think he is going to be maybe the best player in this draft, or at least, one of the top 2 or top 3. The question is, will the character stay up? Will the maturity issues go away? Can he be a guy to, settle down and really have an extended career without getting in any trouble? That is the main question, and that's really what a lot of his draft status hinges on. So Jalen Carter, let's see here. So as it says, even here in his bio, this profile was published prior to the March 1st arrest on reckless driving and racing charges. He entered no contest pleas to the charges on March 16th and was sentenced to serve 12 months of probation, pay a $1,000 fine, perform 80 hours of community service, and complete a state-approved defensive driving course. But when we look at the football side of it, as you can see here in 2022, Carter led a Bulldogs defense that allowed the fewest rushing yards per game at 77.1, and he garnered first-team All-American, All-Conference honors despite missing time during Georgia's title run with knee and ankle injuries. 32 tackles, 7 for loss with 3 sacks, 3 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles. Now, I know people are going to look at that sack number and say, oh, well, that's not setting the world on fire. If you go back and watch this guy play, look at how much talent is on that line. I mean, you could go down the line, right? You could go down the line. Like, all of these players are probably going to be high draft picks just because of how, amazing they were. I mean, they were fantastic. They were just overpowering every single game. So when you look at some of his strengths here, I mean, just a lot of things, right? Really, all this just kind of sums up the fact that he has really good technique, good footwork. He's 314 pounds, by the way. 6'3", 314. That's what he grades out as with a 7.05 prospect grade. But this guy moves much quicker than a guy who's 314 pounds. And you could just see that by a couple looks at the film. And as I said, he's just very dominant as a player. Great technique, great footwork, great hands. And, he just knows how to play the position. He's a natural defensive lineman. Some of the weaknesses here, it says, could use a little more mass, could use a more diversified rush approach. All things that will easily get shored up on the NFL level. The last one, though, scouts say maturity has been an issue at times. That is the biggest thing. Can he buckle down? Can he come together? Obviously he's been involved in a messed up situation. Can he put all this past him and just be a professional? I honestly think that Philadelphia would be a great place for a guy like Jalen Carter. Why do I think that? Because, well, they have high expectations. They probably could go back on another deep playoff run. They have a lot of great veterans on this team, not only, on the defensive line like BG and Fletch, but even guys like Kelsey, guys who can talk to this kid and kind of help him mature and get up to that level. And when you're winning, right? When you're in a good program, things are going good. You kind of mold yourself to that environment. So I think that Philadelphia would actually be a really good spot for him. And it said here in his profile as well, look at this, played alongside 2022 first round pick Jordan Davis. Guess what? He's got his old buddy here, Nakobe Dean. It really just makes a lot of sense. It's a great fit from a football standpoint, but you have to hinge and kind of see, what's going to happen with this whole situation. Is this it? Is there any more to it? I mean, a couple of teams have reportedly taken him off the draft board just given, some of these issues. They don't want to deal with that. So it's going to be interesting. I think you're going to have to kind of hedge the situation from a GM standpoint, but if he's available at number 7 or number 8, The key is for the Eagles to trade up a couple spots, and I think they could really land Jalen Carter. And if all works out, this could potentially be, one of the best players in the NFL draft, and he could be a Philadelphia Eagle. We'll have to wait and see. Definitely a player that fits the mold, though, of a Howie Roseman. We'll see if the Eagles are interested. Give me all your thoughts down below. Should the Eagles inquire about a Jalen Carter? Is it worth the risk? Give me all your thoughts down below. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. And with that being said, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.